I'm Cindy Briggs, and I want to welcome you to my quick sketch watercolor demo. It's kind of a master class where I'm going to show you how I do a couple different techniques, mix colors, and paint a quick painting for you, something that I would do on location. Let's see. I am using all Daniel Smith Watercolors, and I will be showing you my palette and everything else. Now, most of this is to tell you a little bit about my Quick Sketch Watercolors program, which I have quite a few people in the group that are here today. And I really want to thank all of you. They're like my core group of participants, and we have quite a relationship going on in our Facebook private group. And people are posting their paintings, and everybody's so awesome about sharing what they're doing and giving positive reinforcement to everyone, because we're all at different levels. Some people are just starting, and some are just zooming through the program. But I really want to thank those who have given me wonderful quotes to share on the website. So just go to cindybriggs.com, and you'll see where it says Quick Sketch Watercolors, and you can go into that and sign up. I'll tell you a little bit more about that because I want to get to painting right away. That's what this is all about. You don't want to hear me talk. What's behind me are some examples of quick sketch paintings that I actually did on location. I do have, let's see, my Provence sketchbook, which I'm going to be painting in today. And, you know, I just want to show you some fun things that you can do in a sketchbook when you're traveling. It doesn't have to be a big, huge detailed painting. Some of mine are just drawings. So here's one that I painted from the flower shop across from me in Provence. And my photos today are from Provence because I was there in the spring, and I just had the best time there. Heather came out and visited while I was there, and we just have fun going around and photographing. So I think I took these pictures of the windows while I was running around with Heather. Let's see, there you go. And I just thought, well, those would be kind of fun to share today. If you visit my website under workshops, you can see my supply list and the colors that I use. And this is the same as my palette. So that comes with the list. I think in YouTube, I also talk about my supplies. And I'm using a fine point marker. This is just a Sharpie pen. I like the pen tail markers, micron pens, pencil and eraser. If I use a pencil, I see that's the green screen thing going on. If I use a pencil, I put a kneaded eraser on the end. And my two brushes today, one is my absolute, you must have the Dynasty Black Gold pen or paintbrush, which you can get on the brushguys.com for under $20. And then I like the 1/2 inch flat, and all I'm going to do with this is probably use this end of it, the dagger end. So I may use this end. We'll see. We'll see. One thing that's kind of fun today is I am using some masking fluid. So this is a masking fluid pen by Fine Line. And I thought, well, I'll throw that in. My quick sketch group hasn't done that yet. And so this is just a little bonus for everybody to have a try. Okay, let's see. Wow, we've got a good number here. Thank you so much for coming. Every time I look up, there's more. Yeah, we'll talk to you at the end, but do ask questions as I move along. All right, let's see. I need to switch my cameras. So here's my setup. I like using Fabriano Studio watercolor pads for most of my classes. It's 140-pound paper, cold press, and it is super reasonable. One of my students actually made a journal for me out of the paper and out of the back. And in there, I sketched on my trip in the Caribbean last week. So I don't want to show you too much because I'm going to use some of it in a program that's coming up. But I really had fun with this palm tree. And I videoed drawing that palm tree. So what I teach in Quick Sketch is part of this type of drawing. So anyway, just a little teaser. But it made a great sketchbook, and she made 4 of them for about $11 each. Okay, color. I don't want to get too much into color, but part of painting is getting used to working with the paint. And one thing I want to show you is that when I dip my brush into my bucket, I tap on the end to get rid of some of the paint. Now I'm using all Daniel Smith watercolors. It's a good idea, there we go. It's a good idea to spray your watercolors with a little spray bottle. I use the Holbein spray bottle, and because I like the way it leaves little dots of water on my paper. So I wrote in my newsletter about spring green, and I think that phthalo yellow green is gorgeous for that. And kind of get your own yellow green. It's a little bit different, it's a little earthier. Or take your phthalo blue green shade and add yellow to that. Look, it's the same color. So yellow green, you're gonna see a lot of that color this time of year. So one thing I'm gonna do is add a little yellow to that. See how bright I can get it. Or maybe a touch of quinacridone gold. So I just want you to see, play with your greens. Don't just use green straight out of the tube. You want to vary it. Now my go-to green is Green Apatite Genuine. So I make a milky mix usually when I make a puddle. And notice that I use the side of my brush to paint. And I'm just going to cover that area. That is Green Apatite Genuine. Now you don't want to keep brush. You want to get in and get out. Now to vary that green, you can see what I did above by adding some yellow. If I want to make it a little earthier or olive, I can add some red to that. There you go. And get more of an olive green. And maybe I'll add a little quinacridone gold to this. So all these colors are on my list, and you'll get that. So don't worry about taking notes. And another thing I like to do to get my dark greens, sorry about the zoom out, part of that is once the paper has color on it, it won't do that. I use neutral tint to get a nice dark green. There we go. Sometimes I'll even add purple to my green. Let's see, mix this together. And you can earth it down. So here's quite a range of greens that you can mix with just a few colors. And we could do this for hours, but I'm not going to do that to you. Anyone who knows me knows that my Daniel Smith lavender is my favorite color. And I'll be using this color in the painting by adding a little bit of my rose of ultramarine. I can get some variation on that. And I like to put the colors in together and let them mix and mingle. I can also add blue to that lavender and take it that way. So let's see, let's do all three colors together. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty. So these are some of the colors I'll be using in my painting. It's a good idea to plan your colors ahead of time so that you're not fumbling around your palette. Now this wall color, I'll show you my photograph. Look at that wall color. It's gorgeous. So permanent brown is my base for those deep, rich colors. I use that instead of burnt sienna because I can dull that down by adding a little blue. I can get to a brown. Let's see, here's some brown, kind of more of a dull brown color. I also like, while it's still wet, to drop in other colors so they can mix and mingle. So this takes some speed, but look at this. Look at the variety of color in this one. With this, I had some blue, and now I'll bring in some of that burnt sienna. And maybe even a touch of some green. That's pretty. I'm happy with that. And okay, let's go to that permanent brown and add a little bit of quinacridone gold. And let's see, purple. Why not some of this purple? Yeah, so look at the fun things that you can do with your colors. And these are the colors that I will be using today. So a big thing I want you to focus on is mixing and mingling your colors and not relying on just straight color out of the palette. So, okay, so I'm using all Daniel Smith watercolors. I should clarify that. I've been working with them for 25 years and I love their color consistency and variety. You'll notice the lavender, if you go into the stores, you may not find it because it's a newer color. But those of you who know me, I use it in most all of my paintings. In fact, if you look at my palette, that one has the least amount of paint in it. All right, so I lightly drew this out ahead of time so you're not spending the whole time waiting for me to figure out where I'm going with it. This is the photograph. And I'm going to add some line work to that. I wanted to draw it out ahead of time because I added masking fluid to it. I drew in some of the lines and I splattered some masking fluid on here in advance so that you can see some of that sparkle in the light. And to spatter, I put some of the masking fluid in this cute little jar. And then, I'm not actually doing it right now because it won't dry. I dip a brush I don't care about, and then I tap, tap, tap around here. So I just wanted a little bit more sparkle in my painting. See, I'm watching the time so I don't go over. But I am going to take my pen to this so you can see my approach to drawing and what I would actually do in a sketchbook. I talked to one of my students this morning and she said, do you always draw with the pen in your sketchbook? And I don't. I go back and forth to whatever I want. And you can you can cheat. You can draw it out in pencil and then draw it out with your pen if you want. Let's see. I actually need my glasses on so I can see. There we go. So when I draw, I like to put my pen down and keep going. And we do this, I have most of my students doing this in the class as a warm-up. Now, if you need to pick up your pen, that's okay. It's just a matter of getting that line that flows. And so, yes, if you want to draw in pencil first, you can, or you can do the whole thing in pencil. There's no rules in my class other than enjoy yourself and stay positive, because we all need that positive energy. So I'm going to skip and then come back around. Let's see how this line flows. Oh, I see some questions. I'm going to stop for a second. What is the brand of the brush? It is the Dynasty Black Gold Quill, size 4. And if you go to thebrushguides.com, I'm in there, and you just click on my name and you'll see me there, and it'll be listed right there. So it's an awesome price. I'm drawing challenge. Can I still take your class and be able to draw? Yes. Be able to learn how to draw? Yes. I start out with real simple things and then we move on. Heather asks, are we able to share this finished demo with interested painters? Yes, we will be doing that. I will make it available so that you can share with other people, because it's time to add some people to our group. I've had a wonderful group of people, and everybody's at a different stage in that. Some are just starting, and some have moved on and they're ready for me to do the next one, which is coming very soon. But this is the quick sketch is great to start with. So yeah, this may, if it looks intimidating, it's not meant to. I just wanted to show you something kind of fun and how I would paint it and draw it. For instance, in our quick sketch program, I have a rooster that you paint, and it's really fun because you're focusing on shapes. And everybody's rooster has a different personality. We do a drawing of a paintbrush holder that is fairly simple. And every one of those, I don't know, there's something about painting brushes that makes them look really cool. And as you can see, I'm lifting my pencil. I'm not too worried about that. So, you know, I talk to my students and the comments really make a difference in what they say. So one thing I want to tell you about the quick sketch program is it's online until December 2020. A lot of programs are only online for 6 months, and I don't want anyone to feel rushed. I want to make it accessible for a long time. Some people won't get to it right away. They've got busy lives and a lot going on. Oh, this is turning out okay. It's kind of fun. Let's see. Linda, you taught me about this brush and it's always been my favorite brush ever since. Thank you. Yeah, it is like a magic brush. And I am super happy with that. So you can see why I may have given myself a few lines ahead of time to draw this. So I just didn't want you to have to suffer through my figuring out the window. But windows and doors are one of my favorite subjects, especially when people take the time to plant flowers in and around their windows, indoors. It's such a gift to artists. It's like, oh, thank you for doing that. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm looking at it too. Questions. Let's see. I think I've got all the questions answered. So here's, the main part of the drawing. I may go in and draw some of the rocks that are in this opening. I like to add some scribbles and, oh, here's a crack. This just adds to the character of the sketch. If I mess up a line, I just redraw it. So it's not about a perfect line. It's about going with the flow. And sometimes notice when you add an extra line, it adds some depth to the drawing. Ooh, let's see. Okay, so here, now I'm drawing through some of that masking fluid, which I think that'll be interesting. I haven't done that with my group yet. Let's see. And I may add more to this after the fact. I'm gonna leave that alone and I may add some more lines, but this is enough drawing for right now. And I'm imagining you are ready for some paint. Yes, let's get that going. Okay, so I've got my black gold 311 paintbrush, and I love the shutters on this. So I thought I'm gonna go for those really fun, colorful shutters instead of these dark green. Why not? And just paint them in. So that's something we can do as artists, is change what's there. There we go. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of that rose of ultramarine and make it even a little brighter. I just had to go straight for that because I was pretty excited about that color to test it. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so it's a good idea to get your flowers in before you get carried away with this, because you have to paint them on top of the window, in front of the window. So let's do that. And like with the colors that I mixed earlier, I'm going to bring those in and vary them. So here's a little bit of pink. And using some of my rose. There we go. Do you draw sometimes from photos and sometimes on locations? I like to use photos so not to hold up my fellow travelers. I do both. You're not cheating. If you're using your own photographs, it's okay. You might want to try painting or even just drawing on location. You can do that while you're sitting at a cafe table. And then paint it later. But what happens is you're capturing that feeling of being there. If you do something, just the simplest little thing, and those are quite rewarding. So another way is to go with artists that are there to paint. And they'll be going at your speed. Like we do trips to Italy and France and Park City. I don't know if some of you noticed that I mentioned in the newsletter that we're going to the French Riviera next October. I think it's the first week of October. So we just opened that for signups. I didn't even think it was going to be open by now, but it is. So yeah, that one's when we've got a full group going to Tuscany in October. And some of you are on here. I've seen your name. So, you know, just whatever you can do on your trip. For instance, my Caribbean trip that I just went on with Heather, I painted about one painting a day. And yeah, I would have liked to have painted more. Sometimes I did a little bit more, but I have all this new reference material that I can paint from. And a big thing that you'll do is like what I'm doing right here. I may use one photo for part of it and then another photo for part of it. So don't feel like, you know, you're copying a photograph, because no matter what you do, you're making it your own. So thank you for those questions. Now, what I try to do here is create random shapes. This is intentional randomness. So some of it connects and some of it doesn't. Oh, this is fun. I hope you're having fun with this. And I will do the green after I put my flowers in. The flowers are the stars. And I'm putting a lot more in than is actually there. This was early spring, probably kind of like it is here in Utah. And we were just getting the beginnings of color. Let's see. While I'm at it, I'm going to tap a little bit of this. I'm just tapping and putting that color down. But we may do some more of that later. I would love it if you share the link with your friends, because I'm only having this open till April 1st, and then I don't open again. I don't know when it'll be again. It could be months. It could be next year. So it's a good time to get in to the group. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so this green is that phthalo yellow green, and I'm going to drop in some of that. And the purple will start standing out. Now I can come in later with darker greens, but right now I want to get that bright yellow green. Then I have it. I think that's about it. Maybe some light green here. Doesn't that look spring? Like spring? Just, we're so ready for this. Now I want to get that other shutter in. So again, I'm using the lavender. And that rose of ultramarine. Every time I go in, I change my color a little bit. So I'll go from the lavender to the rose and back. And I want to leave light around those flowers. For sparkle. This reminds me of some shutters that I saw in Switzerland, in Neuchâtel. They had just the most beautiful colors. There we go. So the flowers in the window are kind of blending together, but we'll see what happens. There, I like that intense color and the sparkle in and around those flowers. All right. This got really rosy and that got really blue. So let's bring in some of that lavender. So while it's shiny, you can play with it. There we go. And once it starts to dry, you need to get out of there. Let's get these walls going. I think I can do that. I'm using this permanent brown, which I talked about before, with all these different colors that I can mix in with it. And let's start bringing that in. And I may leave a little gap now and then. And you want to leave some space around some of those flowers, remember, for sparkle. So often what happens is people just fill it all in. And then there's nowhere to go. So look at the light hitting that. Now I need to vary my color. So I think I'll bring in a touch of Naples yellow. And maybe even some lavender in the wall. And as soon as I drop that lavender in, you've got a little bit of cool in with your warm, and that is what makes your color more exciting. There we go. What I really want is a nice contrast. I may even add some of that rose of ultramarine in there and see if I can get even darker. Naples yellow. So I'm varying the color as I go around for interest. And this is just going to have a rough edge to the painting. It's not meant to be all finished. Think of it as a vignette. Let's see, I think we're due for lavender again. So let's drop in a little bit of that. And what that does, it just makes your painting sing. It's kind of exciting when you drop in that cool color. So yeah, painting on location is not about painting the whole painting every time and doing a completed finished work of art. It's just capturing what you can with the time that you have. This is raw sienna. I'll put in a little Naples yellow. And I don't go back in and fuss with it while I'm painting. I leave it alone. I want the paint to do its own magical thing. So while I'm painting up in here, I'll talk a little bit about the program. Let's see. See some blue. It's kind of fun because you can't see what I'm painting from, so I can do whatever I want. Let's see. Now, Bill asked me about windows recently, and I said, you know, you've got to suggest that there's something in there. Don't just make it all one color. And so that is what I'm doing here. It's varying the color in the window. I tend to like to use buff titanium in this area right here, but I don't have any, so I'm going to use a little bit of Naples yellow, fairly light and dirty down. There we go. And I am going to bring some of this wall color in. I can't wait to take off that masking fluid. So what I want you to think about when you're painting, that don't think about how, oh, it's not turning out just how I want it, because it usually doesn't, but just enjoy painting for the fun of it. Let's get some darker greens, grabbing that green apatite. Love the color of the wall. The difference in values makes everything pop. You need some contrast to make it interesting. So this is that green apatite. And so I'm just putting in some darker greens in there, so it's just not a flat green, and hopefully it won't be too busy. Okay, now I'm putting in some darks in the flowers. So I have some value changes. It looks kind of busy. And part of that is just building it up. Okay, I'm going to come into this part where it's really dark brown. And so to make it go even darker, I'm using neutral tint. So you can just push that to a dark. Don't use too much, you'll end up with black. But in fact, it looks a little black. And I don't care if that fell in over there. And what I wanted was a contrast between the wood on the window and the glass. There we go. Sometimes we get lost in our painting and we don't quite get it right. I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's not about getting it perfect. Now, you can use the point of your brush and do a little bit of calligraphy. Let's see, here's a crack right there. Mess that up. Let's see. But yeah, I love how you can draw with this brush and just get the tiniest little details. And then you can paint big areas. But these details at the end, towards the end, are what give it some more depth. And this is darker right here. Notice I skip a beat when I'm painting. I don't necessarily draw a straight line the whole way through. Okay, right under here, we're in shadow space. So I am going to use a little bit of lavender and some of this Naples yellow to suggest that shadow, and even a tiny, tiny touch of orange. I see some glow in there. And I think I'll put a touch of orange. The orange just makes it glow. And I do see I need to put in some of these shutter lines so it's obvious that this is the shutter. And kind of mess that up, but that's okay. I purposely will go in and mess it up. Let's see, here's a line. Oh my goodness, there's so many questions up here. If you're already in the quick sketch class, is this a new class that will repeat? No, those who are already in the class, it's just still ongoing. So you get all the bonuses of the people just coming in. So you're in there. And then I'll have a new program coming up, but we have a lot of people that missed it the first time. So I wanted to give them a chance to come in. And I think that'll be fun to have some new people in there that we can share this experience with. How do you get the drawing in perspective? Sometimes I will draw with the pencil like this one. I did draw a little bit of it with the pencil first because I was nervous about getting it just right. But like I said, if you want to use a pencil first, you can. Enough. Susie Blair, let's see, I got yours. Gorgeous. Can't wait to put it in my sketchbook. Can you move page, slightly to the right? Okay. I believe that's Wisteria. Thank you. Where do you get the Aquarelle Value pencil? Aquarelle, it's a Stabilo pencil. And I didn't use that today for this. So I think you can just get it. I have a link. On my website under supplies, there is a link and you can order it straight from my website from Amazon. How do you add touches of color to the flowers, for example? I wait till it's dry and then I add more color. These are awesome questions. Thank you for asking. Let's see, I want to put some lines over here and then I'm going to use that, lift up some of that paint. So we have the sparkle. And that'll be fun to see. So see how I draw with this brush? It's just awesome. So let's take off this masking fluid because I am going to lift off the masking fluid. Hopefully it's all dry. This is a rubber cement pickup. And I did some scribbles with that and just had fun with it. And so you use masking fluid to save the whites. I want to come back in and do a little bit of line work in here. So this is different. This is something we haven't done in the program. I wanted to surprise you and just do something special for everyone. So we have organic and geometric shapes in here, which I think is really fun to try with that continuous line. Do you have a hard time finding the journal? Like I said earlier, one of my students made a journal out of that Fabriano Studio pad and had it bound at FedEx. And she made 4 of these for like $11 each. So that involves a little bit of time. If you do want to just buy one, Caslon is okay. There's some that are out there that are fine. Does anybody have any recommendations? Oh, I think I put a few links on my website for some journals that you can get under my supplies. Oh, how do you add touches to the flowers? Love the masking fluid effect. Yeah, that was kind of fun. I am going to put in a few branches of the wisteria underneath. So here's my photograph again. And so I just wanted to have some of these lines coming through. They're branches holding it together. And that was one area where I said, oh, I might use this. So you can take this and scratch it in there. Let's see, give myself a little more. Here's a puddle. And I can take the dagger and scratch it through. It's just a little more organic looking than using your brush all the time. So I just want a suggestion of this branch coming through and now having some organic shapes going with it. Once again, go to my website at cindybriggs.com, and that's where you can sign up for the Quick Sketch program. I'm gonna do a little bit of splatter. I shouldn't have worn a white shirt. Okay, let me switch back over to the camera. And thank you so much for your comments. This was fun. As I switch over, let's see, video setting. Yeah, thanks for being here. I've got quite a large group. I just so appreciate you showing up to watch my little demonstration online. So what does the Quick Sketch program have? Big thing that we have is our private Facebook group, Quick Sketch with Cindy Briggs. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Marcia. So you can check that out. You just can't join it unless you're part of the group. And we have over 10 modules of lessons. Some of them have more than one lesson in each one. We paint, I show you how to mix your colors, how to draw. We do really simple subjects, and then we build on that. I've got a fun window painting there, Zion, Provence, a beautiful Provence landscape. So I'm doing a people video next, probably later today, because now that I'm warmed up on filming, I think I can do that. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, I do live webinars with the group, and where we, I can answer questions. I show you how to fix things. Thank you, Brenda. I'm so happy to hear from you. Yeah, painting is for me is all about the joy of painting. I don't care if I sell a whole bunch of big paintings. I want to paint for the fun of it. And now and then I'll do a big painting, but I love painting in my sketchbook and traveling and making the most of it. Let's see, I do know the main PayPal button should be working. It's the payment plan button. So do email me if you want to do that program, and I'll get you in the list. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, I also am doing a little calligraphy video, so you can see how to write with those calligraphy pens and how to add words to your pages, which is kind of fun. I share my palette and why I use those colors. I have a video about supplies and what I use, but I keep it pretty simple. You've seen everything I use today. I really like having my cute water buckets that I collect on my trips. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks, Jane. Thanks for being here. I do use all Daniel Smith watercolors. I will be having a few more of these masterclass videos, but the big thing is I need to get you signed up by April 1st. It's my birthday, so I thought, well, that's a good day. Let's get this taken care of. And for those of you in my program, you just get to carry forward with whatever I add on through the end of December 2020. So it's kind of good to get in and follow along. Let's see. Thank you, Bill. The online program is more valuable to me than attending a 5-day live program. It's because of its flexibility as to when you work and how you can review the video modules. Rewind, stop, go forward. Bill gives such great feedback. Thank you, Bill. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so visit cindybriggs.com and you'll see a lot of quotes from my current students. And I think I can, you see all the details of the program. I just kept adding, oh, you've got to do this and let's add that. And I have a lot of bonuses in there. I have a plein air demonstration with the printout so that you can try that at home. Let's see. And I've had all levels of people when they start drawing. They're brand new to it and they really pick it up quick. By using a pen, does this become a mixed media rather than a watercolor painting? You can use the pen with your watercolor. If there are, it depends if you're entering a show. There may be some very specific rules against that, but I could enter this in any show, this type of painting. Let's see, thank you, Bill. How did you lift off the masking fluid? I use a rubber cement pickup. And see it on the end there? It just picks up the masking fluid on the page. Let's see. So if you have a hard time with the payment plan, I am going to fix that. Heather Deans, thank you. Thank you. Robin, let's see. She says, as a member of the first online group, I highly recommend it for artists of all levels. Cindy makes it easy to follow along. The private Facebook group where we share our work is really helpful. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Robin. You've been so supportive. My first group, you know, they came in and we had some technical things to figure out and get it all done. I have quite a few people that are really participating. If anybody's having any problems, you just email me and I do my best to get you taken care of at cindybriggsart@gmail.com. I'm very hands-on with this because I do this for the love of it. It runs in my family and we just love to teach. We love to help people and it's really fulfilling on this end. Okay. So I'm just going to stick around for a few more minutes. If you have questions, let me show you the painting. Let's see, over here, the painting again. And maybe it's backwards because it's the mirror. I will be doing a tiny little bit to that and I will post it and create a PDF to go with it. And you can try this at home. Oh, Heather, thank you. I love seeing everyone's work. Amazing artists out there. Yeah, that's on the Facebook page. That is Quick Sketch Watercolors with Cindy Briggs. And oh, is there any time to show us the window reflections? Yeah, I can do that. That means switching all my cameras around. Why don't I see if I can do it right here, so I don't have to switch the cameras over. Thank you, Jill. I'm glad you're here, Jill. Jill has some really great paintings on the Facebook page. I love the cat. Isn't yours the cat? So a reflection is created by lifting some light with water, and then you can lift the paint right off the page and create the suggestion of a reflection. There, see that? There. And you generally want the reflections to have the same angle. And you can kind of come in and out and change it up. There you go. You're welcome, Jill. Good question. Good comment. Anybody else? Any other questions from anybody? I think we're starting to wrap it up, and I do want to thank you so much. If you have any more questions, go ahead and put them up there. You can always email me questions, but we do make this fun, and as you heard from some of the participants, it's going really well. Thank you, Ellen and Deborah and Debbie, Krista, Charlene, Carolyn, Carol, Brenda, Bill, Heather, Jill, Judy Webley in California, Kathy, Kay, Linda, Marcia. Oh, thanks, Anna. Congratulations on my marriage. Yeah, it's going really well. Robin, Sandra, yay, you made it on here. Susan, Susie, Peggy. If I missed anybody, just know I really appreciate that you're here. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, hopefully the recording worked, and I will share this again soon on my Cindy Briggs Quick Sketch Watercolors page and my website. So you can always go in there and see it. And yeah, I'll include a link to that PDF. I'll figure it out. So thank you, everyone, for being here. You're wonderful. That was fun.